2025 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before I ask for approval to the agenda, I ask that we juxtapose number 11 and number 12. In other words, 12 will be 11, 11 will be 12 on the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Dana, that we approve the amended agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. To the approval of, ask for approval of the consent agenda, including the following: approval of the City Council meeting minutes of December 1st, 2025. We need approval of the bills and claims, of which you have a copy. Approval of pay estimate number 18 in the amount of $43,274.87 to Dean Snyder Construction for the Music Experience Center. D, approval of resolution 2550, a resolution setting the authorization on Citibank accounts effective January 1st, 2026. We have the following licenses and permits: liquor license, Class C retail alcohol license, that's the Fairfield Inn and Suites. It's a renewal. Class C retail alcohol license, G. Joe's by the Lake, that's new. And we have an excavators license with Munson Plumbing, and that's new. Now I'll ask for a motion here, and then we'll have a roll call vote because of resolution 2550. Anyway, ask for approval of the consent agenda, please. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Beth Ann, seconded by Mark, that we approve the consent agenda with, which includes resolution 2550. Is there any discussion? We'll call Mark,
Yes.
Beth Ann,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
and Dana.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I should have stated ahead of time here that Mr. Schmidt, Creighton Schmidt, will not be with us tonight. Now is the time and place for any citizen in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or item that is not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so that the clerk can properly enter the minutes. This is not a discussion time nor a question and answer time, and you have 3 to 5 minutes. None hearing. I'll move on to unfinished business, of which we have none. We'll move to 6, new business, Clear Lake Youth Athletic League transition, review a transition plan by Steve Deers, our city administrator. Welcome, Steve.
Good evening, Mayor Crabb and Council. Last time I guess I get to say that, isn't it? Yes, so this evening we'll be discussing a little bit about just the general transition plan of the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League over to the city operation. Mayor will have his proclamation tonight in regard to that. We also have a couple of members from the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League, including Randy Truesdell and Tim Raber, and some board members, past and present. So we're going to recognize them a little bit tonight for all their efforts over the years, for what they've done for the community, and then look to our transition as the city looks to take over that operation here, starting really in full force, starting in January. We've already been working through some of that this fall, but making that official coming this next 2 years. So turn it over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. I just briefly, before I go through the resolution here, before the meeting started, I was back chatting with the key people who have really worked very, very hard, as Mr. Deers has said, over the years. I'll relate to you this quickly, but my kids who are in their early 50s now, myself, Dave Sunken, and Carl Aids, there was nothing for them with regard to baseball or softball around town at that point. And Mrs. Larson here to my left, our city clerk, her father-in-law ran a program that included young boys and young women on the same team with a hard baseball played out there on Pine Tree Park, where the old diamond that just got blown over with the derecho sat for years and years and years. But it didn't include very many. It was just a pickup type thing. And so we went together and did what we thought was a fairly decent group of young kids ranging from 9 to 12 for little leaguers, both boys and girls. And we even threw in a Babe Ruth League established by a national Babe Ruth League group at that time, and that was for young boys only. Terrible, terrible that there wasn't anything at that time for the girls in softball, and that was what, for 13, 14, and 15-year-old boys. So it was quite a deal. So, you know, we got that going, and then now this is the next generation that we have back here, and the new generation that's coming up. So it's a real pleasure for me to read this. I'll read it very, very fast, but to see that coming back, because it sure is needed, especially as a summer activity. The resolution setting the authorizations on city bank accounts effective January 1, whereas city would likely to clarify the what's that?
I think you want the salmon colored one.
Oh, is there salmon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Salmon. Okay, sorry about that. Whereas the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League has long been a driving force in growing youth t-ball, softball, baseball in our community, providing opportunities for children to learn the fundamentals of the game while developing confidence, teamwork, and a lifelong love of sports. The dedicated volunteers, coaches, parents, and especially the board members, past and present, have invested countless hours preparing fields, organizing teams, coordinating schedules, and creating positive and memorable experiences for Clear Lake's young athletes. These board members have offered steadfast leadership and guidance, ensuring that every child, whether picking up a bat for the first time in t-ball or advancing through softball and baseball, has a safe, supportive, and fun environment in which to grow. The league's commitment to teaching sportsmanship, encouraging personal development, and building community has made a lasting impact on generations of Clear Lake families. Whereas the city of Clear Lake recognizes and deeply appreciates the tremendous efforts of the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League and its board members in establishing and strengthening the youth ball programs that are a cherished part of our community's identity, and the operation of the league transitions to the city of Clear Lake, we express our sincere gratitude to all who have devoted their time, talent, and heart to supporting youth t-ball, softball, and baseball, and ensuring these programs continue to thrive. Whereas the city looks forward to honoring this legacy by continuing to provide high-quality youth ball opportunities, building upon the strong foundation laid by the league and its board members. I, now therefore Mayor Nelson Crabb, do hereby extend heartfelt gratitude to the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League and its board members, past and present, for their many years of service, leadership, and positive influence on the youth of our community. I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed this 15th day of December 2025. Once again, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your services in the past, and let's look forward to what this says here to the next, shall we say, generation of young people to come through here and play some, as we say, let's play ball, and that's what will happen here. Review of Strategic Goal Setting Report, Midwest Municipal Consulting LLC, reviewed by Steve Deere, City Administrator. Welcome again, Steve. We will make a copy of this and make sure that you guys get that too.
Thanks, you guys. Tonight on the agenda, we have the approval of our strategic goal-setting report. So this is a process that we conducted over the last couple of months. It culminated in our meeting on November 12th, where all of us got together, council, elected officials, city staff, department heads, and really reviewed what have our accomplishments been over the last few years, and what challenges do we have out there, and what are our goals going forward. And so we spent that evening kind of working through that and came up with a list of specific goals that were voted on. Those include creating an infrastructure program, creating a 5-year capital plan, review of utility rates, property rehab. The list goes on and on. So it's nice to it's always nice to do these goal settings because it really helps give you some vision as to what you're trying to accomplish over the next couple of years. And is this a definitive list of things we're going to do or not going to do? No, but it gives us a good roadmap, and it helps us during budget season and helps us really kind of lay out, what those things are that we want to try and get done. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mayor, for the council to consider approving that report.
Any questions for Steve, council? Thank you. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve the strategic goal-setting report by the city council. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve the strategic goal-setting report. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Rezoning request of Jake Cabrivas, review Matt Stedding, city engineer. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Hope everybody's having a good day today. So, Jake Capriva came to Mike and I a few months back about creating an upscale micro resort made up of no more than 8 modest-sized cabins. And this resort would really cater to families that were looking for kind of a quiet outdoor experience. So, in our zoning ordinance currently within our districts, if you look at something like a cabin layout like this, we really don't have anything that fits in the current light industrial zoning, which is pretty much blanketed on that entire area out east of the interstate. So we started looking at some different definitions, and I know Eric Molstead built a campground right behind this future lot here, this proposal, and that was rezoned to intensive commercial because of the definition within it of recreational facilities, basically. So commercial recreational facilities classifies a camping type experience within it, and that was really the baseline of why that was rezoned to intensive commercial at the time. With this being on the south side of the tracks, started looking at it in a little more detail. There is a residential development that's now kind of placed amongst our entire light industrial zoning out in that area. So I wasn't really super crazy about rezoning this to intensive commercial, just for a lot of reasons. But one main one is you never know. This is fine and dandy for this proposal, but someday somebody else comes in, and what does that leave the door open to in that area? You always got to try to look into the future as best as we possibly can. So wanted to make sure that this was going to fit. So I looked more over into our highway commercial zoning, which is a lot more restrictive, I will say, than our intensive commercial, especially if you compare it over even amongst our light industrial zoning areas. So that is the direction that we kind of went with this one, because it also classifies, it's permitted underneath it with the commercial recreational facilities. So that is kind of why we went this approach. But Jake decided to request to rezone 3200 and 3220 Main Avenue, more specifically known as lots 1 and 2 of the Barlow and Etzel subdivision. This request was to rezone the north approximately 850 feet of lots 1 and 2 to CH1 highway commercial, and that would leave the existing 400 or approximate feet to the south light industrial for future development. Jake got together with the neighbors surrounding the 200-foot radius of these properties, and they kind of all came to an agreement that they would not like to see cabins and camping areas as such closer to the road around their homes there. So they kind of came to this agreement that we would look at rezoning that north section of those lots, leaving the south portion light industrial. So the neighbors were perfectly fine if he wanted to do storage units or, man caves, a lot of those going up around the area. But nobody is set on anything for that southern portion, so it was just left as more of a peace of mind for the neighboring properties. And then they come to agreeance. We did run this through planning and zoning on December 2nd, passed unanimously, to move forward for council approval. There was one that Christy King did abstain, and that's because Berglund and Cram is going to be working on the site plan. If you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, I know we'll get into a lot more detail once this public meeting happens.
You said lots 1 and 2 which is the north, 150 feet, is that?
850.
850?
Yeah, it includes the big chunk of it's the pond area.
Yeah, just a question, Matt, thank you. And I did go to the planning and zoning meeting, so I have a little bit of background on this proposal. I guess my overall concern would be how it fits in there, and particularly in relationship to that property to the east that I think was originally part of this plan, and then now it's not. Maybe you could comment on that, and in just terms of how, if we rezone this, as you mentioned, longer term, what would be the impact again on these other parcels potentially?
Mm-hmm. Right now, so the lot immediately adjacent to this one to the east is still zoned light industrial. And then the lot to the east of that one is zoned residential. But originally, this was looking more like a flag lot that would take the whole pond. And I know after the title opinion was being looked at, there was a few legal items that needed to get sorted out with the eastern part of the pond, and that's why this was kind of shrunk back to just these 2 lots. And that really at this time is kind of the best answer I have as far as why we're shrinking it back to the 2 lots.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted a little more granularity on that. And
Sure.
that does help. And again, he's looking to build cabins for.
Yes, so he's come to an agreement along with the neighbors that had signed off on this so that he would do no more than 8 modest micro resort style cabins. I think, if you guys are looking around at different areas, Decorah has some of these locations that are pretty nice. I know Okoboji has a few as well. So that's kind of what he is trying to model this layout off of.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have a total number of what he's,
No more than, there is no more than 8. And that was one of the reasons too why the zoning is remaining as is on the south portion. If he wanted any more than that, he would have to go through this entire process again. So it limits that to a total of 8 there.
I know this is my ward, and it's my neighborhood as well. Okay. And I know that my neighbors are very pleased with how this turned out, in terms of this compromise.
Yeah, I think, Jake did a good job going around, sitting down. And you got to be real with people, tell them what your plan is, and be upfront and honest. And I think that goes a long way for people.
any other comments or questions?
Yeah, so those lots will be essentially, is about cut half for the zoning? They're really,
I would say 2/3.
okay.
2/3 to the north, and then you got 1/3 to the south, basically. And it's not like these aren't going to be platted on a bunch of single lots. It'll be like a condo regime of sorts where it will be one parcel. So there will be a definitive line when this is all said and done, the site plan comes through of where that zoning break is, because we have to follow a legal description for that. So there will be a definitive north lot and a south lot with an ingress egress that comes from Main through that first lot to get to the south, to get to the north lot.
Other comments, questions, council?
Yeah, real quick, Mayor. So, and I can't quite remember this, Matt. Is there a road that he needs to put in to get back to that site or not?
Yep, there will be a road, yeah.
Okay, so he's
Yep.
gonna put that in.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And by that, you mean a lane or a road? I mean, is it paved and all that?
We'll see what he proposes on the site plan when we run it through planning and zoning. It's, I mean, it will be a road. We'll have to have for sure, you gotta have concrete 7-inch PCC apron section through the right of way, and then once past that, yeah, we'll see what he comes with. I know Eric Molstead has granular surfacing going to his campground, so I could definitely see a lot of these micro-style resorts are going to asphalt millings, just to keep we're dust-free, environment in town, so that, once those get heated and kind of melted together, that controls the dust. So I could see him coming back with something like that.
More driveway-like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's just like a trail that goes down there. You can see where they,
Yeah, right, and there's gonna have to be an extensive amount of fill brought in as well, so it's, there's a lot of grading to get the site up to what it needs to be to build on.
Anything else? Thanks, Matt. Appreciate this.
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2551, a resolution of intent to hold a public hearing on a rezoning petition, and that shall be June 5th, 2026, 5:30 PM, right here in the council chambers. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Bennett, seconded by Dana, that we approve Resolution 2551. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Beth Ann,
yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
and Mark.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Resolution 2551 is duly adopted. Good work on that, Matt, again. That's kind of an interesting resolution. Yeah, you did. Well, thank you. Welcome, Chief.
I was gonna say, just to clarify, that is January 5th too, by the way.
What's that?
It's January 5th is when we'll have the
Oh, all
public
right.
hearing.
What did I say? June?
June.
Season here. Sorry.
New Mayor and Council. A couple quick things for you. So tonight, starting at 4:30, the police department started our annual Shop at the Cop event. It's held at the Art Center, and then the kids get to go shopping at Larson's. Just wanted to say thank you to the Ventura Fire Department for showing up, and then all those who contributed to that event. We had a good turnout this year, and something we're happy to do for the children in the community that are at needs. We were able to provide them with something they want, something that they need, and then a gift for a family member or friend that they're able to give to them for Christmas too. We'll also feed them with pizza. We had this year the Grinch showed up dressed up as Santa Claus too, so you got the pictures taken with a Santa Grinch tonight. So I left that to come over here tonight, and they're wrapping that up. Should be done by 7 or so tonight. So it was a great event. The monthly report for October went out last week. If you guys had any questions on it, I'd entertain those as well. And then I wanted to just throw this out there to everybody listening and those in front of me that the police department is participating with this year's STEP events, which is a special traffic enforcement project. Started last week, runs through the first of the year, and it's a campaign nationally for impaired drivers. So we'll have officers out working extra shifts through the holidays, just looking for impaired drivers, keeping the roads safe, and all that's funded through our annual GTSB grant. So it covers the overtime there that we work for that too. So you'll see extra officers out at night looking for impaired drivers, and during the daytime for speed and occupant protection violations too. So that's really I have to report for you, unless there's questions on the monthly report.
Questions for Chief, Council?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Public Works Director, Jeremy? Guy who lacks a lot of sleep lately.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Welcome.
This week wasn't too bad, so. So yeah, we kind of got a little bit of a rest this week with the snow. but the warm temperatures will probably be out tomorrow, making some people happy. We're gonna be probably scraping some roads, trying to get some of that ice pack off. We're out kind of doing some pre-work today, trying to get some sand and salt out there to work it up. I guess one thing to mention is that I think would have been a week or so ago Friday, our John Deere 624 loader did deliver right before the second storm. So that was good. That was a budgeted purchase that came through and delivered. So as the snow season approached, we did now have 2 new pieces of equipment from budgeted purchases. Our new single axle plow truck with a wing had delivered and stuff in time for actually the first storm as well, and then our new loader for the second one. So things are looking pretty good there. Obviously we have some other things we're working through, but other than that, the first 2 events for our first events were I guess pretty efficient. Obviously every year has some challenges and same things to work through, but for the winters we've had in the past couple of years, this was a sprint of a start, I guess is the way to put it. So yeah, any questions for me?
Council?
All right, thank you.
Director of Finance and Administrative Services. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a couple of quick things here. So I wanted to let you all know that we did post the watershed coordinator position end of last week. So we're taking applications for that position until December 30th here. Hoping to have somebody in that position shortly after the first of the year. So those are out there. If you know anybody who's interested, let them know that it's out there. I know I've already talked to somebody today about it, and I had talked to somebody a couple weeks ago about it too after council had took action on it. So I think there definitely is some interest out there in it, and I think that partnership with Mason City and all the other partners on it and making it a full-time position has been beneficial, and hopefully we'll get some really good applications coming in here. The other thing, on the RAISE grant, that federal RAISE grant that we have for the 4th Avenue planning, SDH has completed most of their work on that, and they have done all their billing on it. So we did submit our last claim reimbursement on that today. That was for right around $81,000. So hopefully we'll see those last funds coming in on that. Just kind of keeping you guys abreast of that. So. The only other thing is, I know this is Nelson's last meeting tonight here, and I just wanted to say publicly it's really been a pleasure working with you. You're a great advocate for the community, just always positive about everything, and I've really appreciated my time working with you. So,
Thank you.
good luck on your retirement.
Yeah, thank you. Jacob is the quietest neighbor I have back there. You get work done all the time. Appreciate that. City Administrator's report, since we juxtapose things here.
Switching in the batting order, yep. So tonight I just wanted to get a little feedback and maybe a little, not official discussion, right? But we need to be thinking about what we're going to be doing for that Ward 1 council seat. And I've had the opportunity to speak to most of you about, how do we want to move forward with that? Do we want to look to appoint that position? Do we want to go directly to special election? And I guess just to share the general feedback I've received is to look to make the appointment, go that route. And, of course, going that route, there is a possibility that there could be a special election. But ultimately, I think it would seem to be wise to look to appoint that position, get that filled, and hopefully do it on a reasonable timeline. Jennifer and I have worked on a timeline going forward to do that, and so if that's the direction we want to go, we're probably going to be looking to at least get something out into the public by December 29th, that day that Mark swears in as mayor, that the seat officially becomes open. At least put that out in the public that we'll be looking to take applications for those interested, And then, starting on our January 5th meeting, our first one, we'll have you guys take official action on that direction and kind of go through a series of take applications, review, interview, appoint, and with any luck, we would be looking to make that appointment, looks like by about February 17th. And then there's a 14-day period where there could be a petition after that, and so, that's kind of the general timeline we're kind of looking at. So I guess if anybody's, opposed, it'd be great to hear that now on that. I guess we're not officially voting or anything, but just in the matter of trying to get the word out to the public here before the end of the year. I think it'd be helpful with Christmas coming up and New Year's to kind of get that going, so that when we get started in January, we can hit the ground running. So that's kind of the plan, and we'll have you guys take, like I said, official action on that in January. But don't know if there's any thoughts or questions.
Any discussion on that? Bennett?
Yes, Mayor, I would support that process, Steve. I believe we have a precedent for that as well when somebody doesn't, fulfill their term. And in this case, as you pointed out correctly, we can make the appointment. I support that process. And then, of course, if someone in the community wants to do a petition in order to call for a special election, they have that right. So as you pointed out clearly, that's an option that people have. But I think this is a good process that we've used in the past, and so I would support that, as you've laid out the timeline as well.
Yes, thank you for giving us the timeline. I too agree with the whole concept of appointment. I spent some time looking through all the city documents on this to see how that all worked, and so I think this is probably the best way to handle that at this point in time, especially since it does leave the option for special election if that's necessary.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Just curious, so we get to February and there is a petition, what's the timeline there after that?
So after we make the appointment, they have 14 days to file a petition. Then after that point, we would look to hold a special election. I would anticipate that would be approximately 30 days after that. Just in speaking with Adam Wedmore from the county auditor, they're looking to do a special election already on February 24th for Mesa City has a spot to fill, and there might be something else as well. But so we won't be able to make that timeline most likely. So we would have our own special election at that point if that were the case. But that would probably be happening. My guess would be about April 3rd. Because March 3rd would be the deadline, so April 3rd would be that first Tuesday.
Not going to be here, but I feel that you've certainly got the bases covered here all across the board. Dana, how do you feel?
Yeah, it seems like a good idea to me as well.
Well done.
And just, and once we make that appointment, even if it is challenged, that person, whoever we appoint, would serve in that role until the election were to occur. So it's not as if we'd be short somebody. We would have a full 5 at that point. And then if the election comes and there's a change, then that person would swear into the next council meeting. So.
All right, thank you. I have a neat opportunity right now here, and I have a colleague to my far right here who has been a council person 2 separate times, really, 2012, and completed that term in 2015 or 2015, however you want to say. Then he took a sabbatical and came up with another 4-year term of 2018 to 2025. And I can recall a time way back ahead of the 2012, which would probably be in 2011, when the encouragement was so strong from the city council at that time to have this gentleman on board that we actually almost kind of barged in his house. Well, we did. Because he couldn't hear us, he was in the back. And he was was just finishing up on his home, and we went in there and said, young man, get up here, and anyway, we filled him full of all of our good stuff that we do here, and that's how he got in 2012. And so he has served for a very, very, very long and faithful time, and smart guy, very smart, and he's an entrepreneur in our town, and I think quite a few in the home business. And thanks for being a business partner here with us as well. But we have a little token of our appreciation to you, Dana, and I think this guy is going to sail right over to you. And congratulations for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A little like a shard of glass. Not going to get stabbed by it, but I will greatly appreciate it. It's been a great run. 4 years the first time and 8 this last, and so thank you all. It's been a great community to work in, and I'm so thankful that there are so many that want to collaborate and do great things in this community. So I know it'll be left in good hands, and I'll go on to other things, and Tony will man the front, and it'll be great. He's done it before as well, so it'll be good. I'm not so sure about Mark. The jury's still out on Mark, but we'll see. We'll be watching him. Thank you all. It's been great.
Thanks. Well, now I've got to come up with a few words here, I do believe, but and they will be few. Somebody's saying, well, I hope they're few. And it's been a great opportunity for me to be here. I had no intentions of this until after I retired from NIAC and had done very little, but kind of feel free that I could do what I want when I wanted. That just downright got a little boring. And at the time, there was a lot of work being done on the restoration of the lake. DNR was involved, the legislative people were involved, Congress was involved with it, and I thought, ooh, that'd be fun to be a part of, and there's nothing better than to have some work that was very much needed on our lake at that time. It was terrible. You've heard all kinds of stories about it at that time. I'm not about to go in all that, but got on, fortunately got elected as mayor back in 2006, and no sooner did I get on board, and I got a call saying that, gee, we no longer have an ambulance service here at Clear Lake. You're going to have to find your own EMS people, etc. Well, boom, right in the chest, you got that. Anyway, thanks to another guy who's retiring, and I believe he has an open house this Thursday at 3:30 at the firehouse. Doug Myers picked up literally all the pieces to that, and within a short amount of time, we had an ambulance. But in the meantime, I have to thank Mason City Fire Department, really covered for us for that time. And then we got an ambulance or two as it went on, got people hired. Anyway, we made it through that, and that was quite a first time experience, first day on the job, so to speak. But we certainly had the personnel to handle all of that. And look at that now, and look at what Doug and those firefighters have done down there at this point, to the point of where our local citizenry, when they went to build that firehouse, it was just shy of 80% in favor of that building being where it is at the present time. And what an addition that was to our community. And they do not have any trouble, much like our police department does, in finding people to be firefighters or EMS people. contrary to a lot of communities in our area and other areas, that these positions are tough to get staffed. That was a big one there. To go back to the lake, I think we did lots and lots of traveling back and forth to Des Moines. It was a learning experience for me. We even went when we were out in D.C. It wasn't just to go see Congressman Grassley and Senator Ernst, but it was a whole group of people out there that seemed to know that this lake needed help. It was a natural lake, only 3 in Iowa. It was part of our economic engine here, tourism. We don't have smokestacks here, and tourism is really the key business to keep this community going, and I think we shall not forget that. That's very, very important. But that got going, and here you heard tonight, we are in the process of looking to hire a watershed director that not only includes the lake, but includes the, help me, what is that, Winnebago, am I right? Winnebago
Yep, watershed.
watershed, to combine with the Shell Rock watershed, which is on the other side. And I think that will be wonderful, but once again, the importance that we all see now to that lake, and trust it shall never become like it was back when my wife and I first came to town. And you know, it wasn't blue then, but it was almost the color of this paper. I'm being terrible on that, but I'm sorry. It was not good. I look at the other spot, happened to be that same time. Don't worry, Stacy, I'm not going back to the Conestoga wagon that I came out here on. But we landed kind of down in that surf area down there and rented for $70 a month because we couldn't find any motel rooms. We couldn't find any rentals around town, no such thing as VRBOs. They had these little tiny cabins all over the place, but they were all filled at the time. Suddenly realizing, hey, this really is a resort area. There were 5 motels in the surf district at that time. At the present time, there are 0 that are operating. And now that, once again, is being risen up to a part of our resort area. It's shaping up that way, and to me, that's another bright light in the community. Not as bright as that lake, but it's bright for this community. We have fixed up North Shore Drive from City Park all the way down there. It's a good avenue to go, and now other things are being improved in that area of the surf district. In quickly going through many of the other things, it was shocking to the community when our downtown water tower came down. Lots of, shall we say, chatter on that one. But it was done. It came down. We had to fulfill the state requirements that you must have, help me here, Ben, it was 1.8 million gallons on reserve water available, and that tower had to come down. Each of these towers, I believe, our new towers now contain 1 million gallons. The little guy down, but down on South Shore, I think is 250 gallons. Someday something may happen with that one. But for me, that was a very, very important. I don't know that all the fans were for that, but we still see the downtown water tower in pictures and in paintings and everything else. Another big one for me was to work in the process of, and Chad was key in there, Chad Schreck, in McKesson coming here. That process, wow, you know, at the time, I thought McKesson, I didn't even know that name. Dummy here, didn't even know that name. And I did within a few hours, however, knowing that that's a possibility that they would come here. And, I think the offer that we had here at Clear Lake, working through a lot of people to get this, was even a little less than what another town over the border was going to offer them to come to their town. They chose Clear Lake. You now know where McKesson is. They indicated that they would be hiring about 220 people to come there and work, and they would distribute drugs to pharmaceuticals to 5 different states in the area in a 24-hour delivery. And they have held to that. I remember going out and riding around with John Marino, past John Marino, out through that big area, and it looked like a giant football field on the inside where that was built. A building like that in Clear Lake, shocking to all of us. But they are still here, still working, and number 5 on the Forbes list still, and it's right here in Clear Lake. And there are times when I think we need to pay more attention to them. I have talked several times to the new CEO out there. He seems to say, I said, how are we doing? Fine, this is the best move I have ever made, and we're very satisfied with what's going on. You can't just walk in their area, obviously, if you've been around there. But I believe what a landing that was for us. And I think they're still employing, what in the neighborhood of 220, maybe not quite, somewhere in there. And thanks to Chad. But I recall Amy McCasey saying, I asked her, dummy here, asking with regard, why did you choose Clear Lake? And she looked me right flat in the eyes and said, it was due to your culture. I said, what do you mean? She said, we spent a number of days in your town that you folks didn't know. And we liked what we saw. I said, well, you mean it wasn't the soil borings, or it wasn't the railroad running by, it wasn't, she said, well, of course they were a part of it, but she said it was the people that we ran into and talked with on your street. Now that's really powerful for me to hear that. It speaks of our people, the people that you guys up here and myself have served and are serving for years and years. That's what we're all about here. There's a lot of other things that we can go through that. I'm so pleased that we can work with, people like Stacy in the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, those girls down there, I don't think they ever cry. They're always giggling when I walk in. They're always happy, because this is happening. This is going on, and gee, Chief Colby, can you get this street closed in 20 minutes? That's about how to do it. And Colby, Chief Colby said, well, I suppose, and we get her done. We get her done. And the map goes out to the whole public as a result of that, where we're working all together on these things. We have business people in town, local people that are doing good things in their town. We don't have to bring people in. Gee, do you think you can come here and do this? And they work through, and we used to have Jason Petersburg, and we still do, but we have a key man here now in Matt Steady. The guy that lives here, I think. He's up at the Wellness Center at 4 in the morning. From there, he migrates, down here. He's the last one to leave this building. I come in here on the weekends. There he is, still in the same chair. I'm looking for the cop, but that's exactly what we needed. And he has a young family. He has a few boat lifts on his beach out there, but he is a partner. He is a partner, and that's the fun part that I've had sitting here. So Evening, I hope you have the same amount, because you've got a great bunch here. It's fun to serve with a variety of council people over these 20 years. But I still go back to what's on that motto on the wonderful newspaper that Jennifer puts out. And Jennifer is our glue. I've said this over and over and over again. We would all fall apart if she didn't go around with that glue stick every day and make sure we were doing what we're supposed to be doing. And, you know, that staff that we have out in front, you know, that we all hear the giggles come down the hallway, they're working. They're getting a lot of work done. And sometimes some of the interesting people come in there and they handle that perfectly well. You know. And now we've got Steven on board and we're breaking him in tough. We kind of chop, and he'll get there in a short amount of time, that's for sure. But it's been a joy for me. Go back to that symbol, and what does it say? I say it all the time, where people make the difference. That's what we're here for. We're not here for ourselves. So if you've got the me, and you forget, get rid of it. Kick it out. We don't want to hear what you think. We want to hear what you do and how you do it. Watch how you do it. Words are cheap, but you've got actually to be there and be doing things and working with and not be the hatchet man. You know, things do work out. You have to find ways to do it. Hey, I thank you, people. It's been a great run, and you know, you ain't gonna kick me out of town, so I'll be here. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else to come before this group tonight?
I believe so.
Either way, I can go first or last. Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for 20 years of service to this community. I've had the privilege of serving with you the last 8 and 1 year as your Mayor Pro Tem, and I just want to again thank you for all you've done and for serving in that role. And so God bless you, and I hope you enjoy your retirement.
You gonna throw that at me?
No.
No. Thank you for your service. You have laid a tremendous foundation and are definitely leaving the city in a far better place than what you found it, and we won't screw it up. So this is from the city. It's heavy.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
One mark.
Come up closer if you need to.
Oh, don't you?
Isn't that heavy? It's like a 10-pounder.
Oh, yeah. Sure. All right. Chad, I didn't call on you guys. I didn't follow that.
You're right, we can't, but I feel like we have to. So, I guess I just want to take my opportunity, under Mayor Nelson Crabb's mayor report tonight, to offer my sincerest gratitude. So first of all, Dana, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
You've always been such a positive encourager, and I know that even as you transition off the council, you will remain a positive encourager.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for your service. All right, the old crab.
Dart.
That is how he calls me. He's like, it's the old crab. I'm not making fun of him. I've only had the opportunity of working with you for 7 years, and I can tell you it didn't take very long at all to know that this transplant from Jersey is the biggest lover of Clear Lake. You've demonstrated tonight your love of storytelling. I love your I love your stories, and I'm gonna miss you telling our lake leadership crew all about your trip to Clear Lake and that little car and living in that $70 a month cabin, and then all the chapters that followed. So even when I was researching Evans United's 50th anniversary celebration here in Clear Lake, there wasn't anything about Evans coming to town. It was about Nelson Crabb leading the kids parade. So even prior to your 20 years at mayor, you were serving this town and leading in our community. And I know that even though you're closing the chapter here, your work and leadership are not done. I'm certain that you'll continue to be involved in all the things that make Clear Lake great, because that's just who you are. So even though, so over the past few years, we've broken ground or cut the ribbon on so many projects. You always talked about the importance of, you had these C words, collaboration, cooperation. You talked about how it takes relationships and partnerships to move a city forward. And it takes people who care deeply about something to come together and take action. Like you said, words are cheap. So even though those are the words you tout, I want to maybe tout a couple other words, and those are L words. They are leadership and legacy, because collaboration isn't possible without leadership. You can look around Clear Lake and see your fingerprints on so many projects: Lake Quality, thriving Main Avenue, new businesses, wellness center, fire department, placemaking efforts. The list goes on and on. You have so much to be proud of. Your leadership has helped foster a community that collaborates, and you leave behind something truly meaningful, not just the accomplishments, but the legacy of bringing people together, where people make the difference. So it's a legacy that's something that won't be replaced, but it will be something that we all work together to carry forward. So truly, thank you so much for all that you've done for our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, Mayor, Council, it's been a true honor. Over 11 years here, got to work with you, Dana, for so long. So much of that, I've really appreciated your partnership and support of the community, our organization. Mayor, I was trying to think back through this, and over 11 years, I try to make as many of the council meetings as I can, so I've probably gotten to watch you lead over 200 some of these meetings, countless board meetings with our organization, with the chamber, statewide events, going to DC with you, and you've never done anything but represent this community with incredible integrity and leadership, and just that spirit of positivity and joy and encouragement to this community. And it's just been, I've learned so much. I appreciate just the way that you carry yourself and represent the people of this community, and it's all genuine and real, and we all know that, and everybody that's gotten to interact with you over the years has known that. And your contributions to this community, to this region, to our state, are just so important and so huge, and like Stacy said, such a great legacy. So just from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you so much, and the friendship, partnership, mentorship that I've gotten from you over these last 11 years has been incredible. One of the main reasons that my family and I are still here is just people like you and what you've meant to us and to this community. Not every community gets to have such great leadership and representation, and we're so fortunate to have that here. So thank you so much. Just appreciate the support you've given me, our organization, again, the collaboration, the communication, cooperation, all the other C words that you've thrown at us over the years. But again, just thank you so much. And you mentioned McKesson. I just always remember one of the first things, I can't claim credit for getting them here. That happened right before I got here, but we're working through it. I got to dive into things. You guys welcomed me in to be a part of that, and we got to go out to Chicago to one of their corporate offices and tour one of their facilities over there. And it was just so fun getting to know you on that trip and seeing how you, again, just right from the start, represented this community to folks outside of it. And it's just been such a blessing. So really cool to do this, and I can't believe it's our last one. But again, thanks so much for it, and looking forward to being friends going forward. I appreciate all that you've done for us, and hope you enjoy riding off into the sunset. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Meeting adjourned. God bless Clear Lake.